Hello, everybody. Happy Monday, and thanks again for joining me today. Today, I'm going to work on drakon render. No surprises there, I think. Let's see the code. So last time, maybe you remember during the last session, I produced these. It's no longer here. I produced these balanced paths markdown files to help us troubleshoot and reason about how paths are being rebalanced. Since then, I attempted to redo it a little bit to give the code more clarity, and I replaced that bigger function with this bigger function with two smaller ones. I think these are a little bit easier to reason about. I created some issues. I cleaned up the issue backlog. I created a milestone. So the plan for today is I have two plans. One is to finish, where is this? Finish simplifying the markdown rendering a little bit. And the other one is this function, isolate function, generating new rows for the bpath array. Bpaths, I call these balanced paths. So it's paths leading us from a divergence point to a convergence point. And the reason for the B is because I want them all to be balanced, meaning every path should have an equal number of either icons or valence points. I haven't decided how to do it yet. So this is going to be in progress. I'll just quickly show you the milestone I created. And the milestone is to balance the whole graph. I think I'm happy with the direction for the moment to balance the whole graph. I initially was reluctant to do it because I didn't really have a good idea how to do it. But now I think we're getting close to being able to position or balance graph paths reasonably elegantly. So I think I'm committed to stay on this course for at least a number of days or maybe even weeks. Now, you're not here to hear me ramble. You want to see some code, and so let's do that. Or maybe you do come here to hear me ramble. Who knows? So we'll be working on this. Isolation function generating new rows for the bpath array. So previously we had this fold in a fold. It wasn't very elegant. I already have this function here, balanced paths single row or bpath single row. And it takes the whole array, a list of lists of icons, meaning the paths. And for a given row index, it just gets the row index. It gets icons positioned at a specific row, a specified row index, and if such row index does not exist in one of our paths, because the path is just too short, we just give a temp valence point identified by X. I think this is pretty elegant. Now, the challenge is to also render bpaths in markdown for easier troubleshooting. I'm just flipping back and forth to make sure my OBS can capture what I'm seeing, because I've made some stupid mistakes before. Okay, so let's see. So this is the header, and the header should provide a reasonable explanation for the balanced paths. Let's run it. Let's see what happens. If it builds. 207. this is that indentation problem I will probably never get good at. 12. Oh, sorry, this also has to be shifted. You know what, let's call it I. It's just easier on the I. And before we run it, let's format. It is formatted very similarly. Which is not the worst thing. Let's see what it generated. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Why did it generate 9? Oh, it should be -1. It's a lot of brackets. I hope everybody had a nice weekend. I certainly did. But in my world, weekends are usually pretty busy, so I'm very happy to just sit down and relax writing code. So I don't expect anybody to notice, but I've changed a little bit how I portray those paths. So I work in rows now. But that's an implementation detail. I won't get into the details of it. Yeah, now this is much better. So let's go back here, and in the header, let's do a header line break. I just want to replace the case off. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. So all I have to do now is just to iterate through the list of B paths. Let's collapse this. And every row will have to become a markdown row. So here I used to have this code, but I don't believe we'll need this hard-coded limit here. We can just do this. and input paths. We don't really, no, we do need. Or maybe we don't. No, let's keep them just in case. And just as a test, we're going to do this. It will not generate correct markdown, naturally, but it should generate something. Perfect. So now all I have to do is to iterate through all the columns that we have. 1, 2, that's 12. Yeah, that should be correct. So this is just what I'm doing right now is this. I already have this function, so to finish this issue off, I want to also re-implement what we've done last week. It shouldn't take me too long, but let's see. And just like in the case of this, I'll require a row index, our whole list of B paths, and we will return a string. How did we call it here? X, just X, okay. You know what, maybe it would be easier if we just call it I, because we do index with it. Let's collapse this. So here, see, rendering something like this is probably easier than what we had before because every row is already very rendering friendly. We don't have to combine all the nth icon of every path. We can just take the whole row and just make markdown out of it. So here we don't need to really make it like this. We can just say single row. And here, for now, let's do an empty string. Here we can say X. And instead of empty string, let's see if this works. Sorry. I think this is what we wanted. Let's make sure. Yeah, perfect. So now all we need to do is to iterate through the all the elements in that single row. Maybe we can even simplify it to a point where the single row can be reduced. Let's see, full del. I think so. And this is a single icon. So I thought about it, and I thought that printing only the icon name could be not sufficient. Maybe it would be sufficient to me who's constantly in the code, but for somebody who's just watching this casually, icon number 16, icon number 8, icon number 6 could be a little bit difficult to connect to one of these diagrams. Therefore, I think I'm just going to do this. Get icon description. And every line we start with \n. And every line we finish with a pipe symbol. And then this can go. Will this work? Full del. Oh, it looks like I made a mistake here. Before we run it, let's format. Where is it? I can collapse this. This didn't really change. You see, we used to have this, which is pretty gnarly. And now we have two, well, albeit two functions, but where is it? But way simpler. Now, having said that, let's run it. Let's see what happens. Oh, okay. So that is my mistake. So what we need is this. have one extra space here, but that's fine. Let's see if this works. That is slightly confusing. Oh, so that space cannot be there. Interesting. Okay, but it's not looking too bad. And I think we can make something really pretty out of this. Yep, mandatory detour. So let's do this. So we can't get away with an extra space there. Beautiful. Now, and just because we can, just because the markdown gives us a lot of possibilities to experiment with, I'm going to make it bold. And here, instead of this will go, instead of temp valent point, let's see if this is even used. It's not even used anymore. So instead of temp valent point, we're going to do name and description. This can go now. Now you ended up with a series of very easy to grasp, elegant, if I do say so myself, functions, or reasonably elegant. DC paths we can collapse for now. And we're under 300 lines. That's not too bad. And ultimately, I would like to kick out these new functions that are responsible for showing or rendering markdown to an individual module. But for now, I think we're good. So where were we? Temp valent points. We need to do this. not here. Let's just name them 0. Let's run it, see what happens. Okay. It's not so easy to track. It looks clean, but it could be more. It could be made more readable. Let's, instead of temporary failing point, let's do the old classic X. And here, single row, let's maybe do this. Should be a bit easier on the eye. Okay, I think this is good enough. Oh yeah, this is much better. So let's go ahead and update the README straight away, because this does not look so pretty in comparison now. Okay. And while we're at it, I don't need this. While we're at it, let's address some of the feedback that HNet gave us. Now here, redundant bracket. Oh, is it? Oh, well, yeah, that would be redundant. Now here, 212. Oh, that's good. Two and two reduce. Beautiful. Redundant bracket 208. Get icon name is redundant. Well, the icons brackets surrounding get icon name are redundant. They are here, but not here. Use head, if only I could. 201. But then it's going to complain. That I don't have error handling. I'm not sure how I feel about the error handling in this code. We know the head is going to always be there. 208. Oh, alas. Redundant bracket. 201. Oh, that's great. Oh no, not this one. Orange. The 193. The 191. We don't need that otherwise. Yeah, it's complaining about the use of head. I will have to check if this can be disabled. Oh, we can remove the map. Data list. Two, 4, 8 handle. Let's see. What is this? Comment 248. Yeah, we're good. Now let's just format. And we'll get the code ready for commit. But before I do that, let me take a quick break and I'll be back in a second. Okay, I'm back. It looks like it's rolling. Let's switch back to the code view. Looks like we're ready. Paths markdown. What is this branch? And now let's PR this. So it will close this issue. Not this one. and it resolves the cleanup. That's not a bad ratio. One 10 and also 107. Why? Hmm? There should be no conflicts now. Okay, so while CodeRabbit AI works on the code review, I'm going to dive into this. Mark cells that could be shifted down. Okay, so what it means is, and let's go back to the old diagram. So what I meant by that is if you follow the algorithm I sort of have in mind, is it here? Here, you can see that if all icons in a row have the same ID, they're the same icon, we don't need to rebalance anything. But as soon as we start seeing inconsistencies, so one row containing more than one type of icon, or one icon, if that makes sense. Like here, we have out of 8 paths, we have 2 different icons taking that spot identified by index 0, 1, 2, 3. We have icon 4 and icon 6. So as I'm progressing down the tree, looking for icons to be potentially shifted, I see the inconsistency and I say, okay, without looking at the rest of the graph, I'm just trying to think as a computer would, or I'm just trying to think in a way that I would explain the code to the computer. So, I'm trying to follow a very simple algorithm. As soon as I see an inconsistency, without looking at the remainder of this list of lists, I know that either icon 4 or icon 6 will need to shift down in order for the graph to be balanced, right? And as a human reading the rest of the list of lists, or the list of paths, I see icon 6 here. So I know that if icon 6 exists here in this segment, and it exists here in this segment, I know that all these 4 need to be shifted down and 8 valence points need to be inserted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, but for now, I don't have a good idea yet how to express this clearly in the code. Therefore, just for my own convenience, for the sake of troubleshooting, I'm going to mark this row or all icons in that row with some sort of markdown emoji indicating that either 4 or 6 will have to shift down. But you know what? I think we'll be doing this during the next session. For now, I'm pretty happy with the progress. It looks like we've spent a little bit of time on this, over 40 minutes. Right, so I think it would be reasonable not to do the extra issue today or during this session, but instead to leave it for one of the future sessions. I'll leave CodeRabbit AI running so that it can analyze my code. Pretty good progress today. I feel the code became a little bit cleaner. Next session is going to be focused on indicating which icons potentially should be shifted down. And that will give us a pretty solid foundations to visually reason about the remainder of the algorithm. Where should we insert valence points? What parts should be shifted? Which dependents should be altered? I want to take my time. I want to enjoy myself while working on drakon render. And so far, it's been a lot of fun. Having said that, thank you all very much for sticking with me. Thank you all for your attention, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.